Ford Formula Ford EcoBoost review. A cynic might argue that Ford's 1.0-liter EcoBoost-powered, but still just about road legal, Formula Ford is little more than a marketing exercise, a meaningless diversion from reality that's designed to showcase the talents of Ford's award-winning EcoBoost engine. And in one sense, the cynics might well have a point. But from an engineering point of view, and also purely from a petrolhead's stance, this car is a whole lot more relevant than that. It's an intriguing gaze into the crystal ball in many ways, a machine that enables one to imagine what might be achievable for sports cars of the future. In the tail sits a highly modified 200 bhp version of the 3-cylinder, 1.0-liter EcoBoost engine from Ford's road cars, and although there are headlights, indicators and even a handbrake to justify the number plates, to all intents and purposes this is a racing car that will never be raced. The gearbox is a 6-speed sequential and the all-round double wishbone suspension is exactly as you'd find in the racing car, as is the stripped-out single-seater cockpit, give or take an extra button or two to turn on the headlights. Everything this car does on the move, it does with immediacy and precision. The engine feels massively torquey, which is amazing considering its lack of capacity, and there is all sorts of mid-80s touring car chatter from the wastegate when you come on and off the throttle, which is nice. But most of all, it's quick. And when I say quick I mean just this side of bonkers, but only just. Initially it feels quite weird to drive because, unlike most racing cars, the guts of the performance are at low to middling revs. In some ways it feels, and even sounds, as if there's a highly tuned TDI engine back there, so much thrust is there available from so little revs. Conversely, at the top end it feels a bit weak, purely because it runs out of revs so rapidly, the limiter intruding at around 6,500 revolutions per minute according to the car's digital dash. But once you learn that the best way to get the most out of the 3-cylinder turbo engine is virtually to short shift it, the performance is both smooth and strong. And the gear changes, which require no use of the clutch up or down once on the move, are blink and you'll miss it fast. The steering is also fabulously precise, rarely if ever do you need more than a few degrees of lock to aim it accurately through a corner. And the handling is much like that of a racing car, except in this case you can use the throttle to influence your cornering line more than you can in a regular Formula Ford because there's that much more torque to play with. It's the headline figures that will send your imagination into hyperdrive however, 0 to 60 miles per hour in a whisker over 4 seconds, a Nürburgring lap time of 7 minutes 22 seconds, a top speed of over 160 miles per hour and this surely is the number that will make you sit up and think hardest minus 118 miles per gallon on the combined cycle. None of which would be possible, of course, if the car didn't weigh just 495 kilograms. But right there is the crux of the Formula Ford EcoBoost. Make a light car, a really light car in this instance, and you don't need a whole heap of poke to make it go properly. No one in their right mind is going to suggest that Ford will make a production sports car that weighs less than a Caterham anytime soon, but just say it made one that weighed 750 to 800 kilograms in the future. Even that would go pretty well with this car's tuned but tiny turbo engine in situ. Scale up the numbers in each direction a little bit and there's no reason why a car similar to this couldn't be made to work properly for the road in the future. As it stands, the EcoBoost is just an exercise in the possible. And you can't buy one because it's a one-off.